Well, Shaney, it's time for Despair once again with Ultra Despair Girls, Danganronpa, another episode.
Isn't it? Oh, wait. Danganronpa, another episode?
Let's just agree it is a mouthful. So jumping straight into it, you take the role of Komaru Negi, who is the main protagonist, or the sister of the main protagonist of the first Danganronpa series. She jumps in and she is antagonized by the Warriors of Hope, 5 kids hell-bent on world domination and getting rid of every single adult in existence.
Now, the gameplay in this game is much more, I guess, gameplay orientated. I don't know how that really did work.
Well, so for the uninitiated, the first 2 Danganronpa games were strictly visual novels.
Yeah, where this is much more of a game in the sense where you've actually got puzzle elements, you've got like combat, third-person shooter elements, and even like this little bit of like challenge mode, like mission-based style, which I really enjoyed myself, but you didn't really like.
No. Well, it's an expansion of the over-the-shoulder shooter dynamic, where instead of just shooting enemies and making it as boring as possible, there's certain elements where you got to fulfill certain requirements, where you got to kill enemies under like one explosion or using a certain effect. Another thing as well, that the effects in the game where you use dance bullets, paralyzed bullets, and your enemies kind of go along to that beat. So instead of just shooting them, you can actually keep them in one place, and there's a strategic element to it.
Yeah, but it does, I guess, sometimes take it out of like the game core, like I guess the core complex of the game, where it's just like the missions are sometimes very, very annoying, or sometimes just not difficult, but just slow, I guess.
They haven't quite found their bearings with this shooting element as well. So even though it is fairly action heavy, there's a lot of cutscenes that rip you from the action straight away, where the game isn't quite action oriented, but tries to go back to its visual novel roots, which I find a bit concerning. There's a bit of identity crisis there.
That said, the visual novel roots, or even just the animated scenes, are really, really nice. Like, they've got the art style from the first game and second game really down pat in this one. And just like, it almost seems like an anime, most of the scenes.
Safe to say that Danganronpa series is very stylistically driven, and this is no exception. So I still think it's fairly 50-50 for me on this one. It's still pretty good for the fans, but for everyone else, I highly suggest that you take a grain of salt with this one.